What moves you? What inspires you?
I have one simple question. What is your motivation? Like, I've never met anybody who didn't put in the work to achieve their goals. It's simple. Rise and grind.
All right, well, welcome to episode 2 of the Rise and Grind podcast. I've got Rick Thibodeau here today. And Rick, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us what you do for a living, what your hobbies are.
Well, thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me for episode 2. My name is Rick Thibodeau. I'm a registered physical therapist. I work for a local company here in Owen Sound. And I've been a physio for 10 years, going on 10 years, and absolutely love what I do. I love helping people every single day. Kind of bleeds into what I do for my hobbies, which is a lot of bodybuilding stuff. I kind of developed a niche for myself to be sort of the bodybuilding physio.
And you kind of came up from, you were kind of looking like me a long while.
Lovable. Yeah. I was quite depressed a few years ago, and I really let myself go. And basically, long story short, I saw a picture of myself and said, you know what, I just can't be like this anymore.
Right.
So I basically just kicked myself in the butt and I said, okay, I'm not going to be this way. I'm not going to be like this for my kids. I'm not going to be like this for my career. And so I just set out on a goal. And for the last couple of years, I've been lucky enough to be stepping on stage as a competitive bodybuilder, actually, in the local area. And I've done pretty decently well in my shows. And
so you did your first competition how long ago?
That would be back in 2016. I did my first show in London, Ontario.
Yeah.
And
how'd you do in that one?
Out of a class of 6, I placed 5th in my first one. So first time getting my feet wet, all the nerves, trying to just be as good shape as I can. And I think I did rather well. The second show I did was this past June in Guelph. Yeah. And I placed 4th in my division, and a much tougher class.
Sure.
A different level of athlete was there. So it was really humbling to be able to see that despite the improvements I'd made, there are still always people better and bigger.
For sure. And I remember, and so for everybody listening, Rick is my neighbor, and I watched him go through, holy crap, like crazy amounts of training, crazy amounts of working out and eating right. And you went through quite the, what do you want to call it?
Suffering,
yeah, we'll call it suffering. So, what is all involved? We're not just talking about your regular dieting and eating right and going to the gym. Like, there's some serious training involved.
Yeah, it's a different kind of beast. Like any competitive sport, you have to sacrifice. If you want to win or you want to be in a position to win, you need to be able to sacrifice and make that a priority in your life.
Sure.
If you don't give it your all, you're not going to. Why work this hard just to get a handshake?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. When people are subjectively judging you,
Well, you were going. So we moved in here about just over a year ago now. Well, a year and a half now. But I watched your transformation, and you were a big dude when I met you, and your transformation was just outstanding.
Well, thank you. It's
like how long did it take to really tone up like that?
Well, for me, the second show, I took a long time to diet down. It took 6 months. So a standard competition prep based on if you look pretty decent is 16 weeks on general.
Yeah.
With me, I wanted to take a little bit longer, so I didn't. I had more opportunities to correct myself, not do such extreme dieting, not extreme cardio, I definitely suffered for a longer period of time. At the end, I was able to control myself going through and not go through this drastic, not just changes physiologically, but emotionally as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. So in that whole transformation and leading up to your competition, and talking to you, you're super excited. Everything was like, I've never seen anybody so focused on something ever. So what kept you motivated during that whole time to get to that point?
Beating myself the first stage, like the first time I stepped on the stage was a primary motivation. Like it's like I wanted to be better, and it's really the beauty of the sport is that it's self-challenge, right?
Sure.
We all start with vanity, wanting to.
And that transfers to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
For
sure. Everybody who wants to lift usually first. I do it for the looks. I do it for the chicks, whatever. but this time it was purely like I wanted to improve myself. I wanted to be a better person, a bigger person.
Yeah.
It's just another goal. Bigger,
Just to see
stronger,
how far
faster.
you could push it.
Right. And even where I ended up, which was in fantastic shape, I could still be better. I could still do more.
Yeah.
But
And for anybody watching this, I mean, look at me. I'm kind of chubby and I seen pictures of Rick. He was looking like me, and then now he looks like this. It's crazy. Like, super motivating for me. I quit smoking 2.5 weeks ago. That's my first start. Now it's going to be eating healthy, and then hopefully getting back to the gym for me. And
yeah, and as you said, like it's the competition aspect is much more different than the standard eating clean. Like eating clean is doing competition dieting, but it's not just, hey, I'm just going to eliminate my drinks and the cigarettes and getting sugar out of my diet. It's coming down to like, I have to eat 200 grams of sweet potato this time.
right,
And
so it's measuring
it every gram, every ounce, timing to make sure you're getting every 2 to 3 hours, and making sure that, am I training at the most efficient time? Am I doing my cardio 4 or 5 days a week? Am I doing it when I wake up first thing in the morning? Am I doing it after,
Sure.
It's consistency, right?
Yeah.
And with any lifestyle change, regardless if you just want to lose 30 pounds or you want to put on muscle or go to a stage, you have to be consistent.
For sure.
And so basically, back to the original question, as a physio, I embody health and lifestyle, right? So when people come to me, I want them to see me and say, hey, that guy looks really good. I'm going to listen to him because he practices what he preaches.
100%.
And even the longevity of my career, if I don't do what I do, I wouldn't be able to take the patients that I take. I wouldn't be able to do the techniques on the patients I want to do. And I just want to have a long, injury-free career.
Sure. Nope, makes 100%. So when you're transferring this over to a regular human being like me, or like anybody else who's listening saying, hey, you know what, and we're kind of the perfect time of year for this. It's New Year's, everybody's kind of making their resolutions, saying, hey, I want to be healthier, I want to go back to the gym. And I used to work out quite rigorously, and I stopped, but I always remember January into the beginning of February was like, I wanted to stay away from the gym because there were so many people there that were there based upon a New Year's resolution that they were going to get healthy, and then they give up. So if there's other people out there like that, what kind of advice would you give them to kind of stay focused and not give up on it? Maybe are they setting their goals too high for their resolution, you think?
A lot of the times, yes, it is setting too much for themselves, not realizing the dirty work that's involved to get to where they want to go.
Right.
Sure, it's great. I'm going to New Year's resolution, I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Yeah, it's great, but where do you even start with that?
So they're almost going in blind saying, hey, I'm going to go to the gym and pump as much weight as I can and hopefully lose all this weight. They're not doing it correctly. They're not seeing the transformation starting to happen because they're not doing it right, and they give up.
Right, and especially in that first 3 to 4 weeks, right? Oh, how come I haven't lost 4 or 5 pounds already? I've done this. Oh yeah, but I'm eating salads. Yeah, but it comes down to those little details that, people like myself are available to help coach. And
I was just going to say that. What do you recommend these people to do? Like, if they're really serious about doing that, do you think they should seek out a personal trainer or somebody like you who can kind of coach them with their eating habits versus working out?
Well, if you have someone who's without any, dysfunction, no injuries, no whatever, even someone like yourself,
Right.
Just going into the gym, signing up, having an orientation. There's lots of great articles. I mean, in the age of social media, there's lots of stuff out there, beginner training programs, that will get people, try this. It is always worth your while. If you're completely green, you've never done it in your life, you hire a personal trainer
Right.
for a few sessions if you want. If you've got the finances to hire for an 8-week program, then by all means get that start because it'll keep you accountable. And that's ultimately the case is that in resolutioners who fail, there's no accountability.
Is there a point where you can kind of go overboard or do too much?
Well, they would say the competition aspect of me is too much. So competition in and of itself is not healthy.
So regular lifestyle,
Regular lifestyle.
working out, twice a week, just kind of eating your regular food groups.
So here's the thing, you say it twice a week, regular food groups, that's a fantastic start,
Right.
You're to lose that 50 pounds, right? It's such a lofty goal, but if you say, you know what, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week. I don't even care what 3 days it is. I'm going to make it 3 days.
Okay.
That way the stress is off you to say, well, I can't make it Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Right.
Well, something comes up because life happens. Wednesday comes up, oh shoot, my kids are sick, I can't go to the gym. Oh, the whole thing is blown off. Now I got to start again on Monday, this magic Monday. But no matter what, if like, you know what, I can't make it today, I'll go tomorrow, I'll get my 3 days in. wonderful.
That's a human nature thing, you know.
Absolutely. And if people are allowed to have that bit of flexibility, some people need the rigidness, they have to. But that rigidness has to come with someone holding them accountable.
For sure.
Because things happen, life happens, and until you've built that into a lifestyle, right? There's absolutely no way.
That's just my dog barking.
There's absolutely no way you'll be able to keep accountable if you're completely green and never done anything like this before.
Okay, so we're back, and again, we're continuing our talk with Rick here. So, what are your thoughts on New Year's resolutions, Peter? We just talked about a lot of people make their resolution going to the gym, getting healthy, and blah, blah. There's all kinds, quitting smoking. Those are the most common ones I've ever heard. What is your kind of advice for making a logical New Year's resolution or something that is obtainable? I mean, you must hear it a lot, in your profession.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I've grown older, I've recognized that resolutions really, they're a trend thing people do every year to feel, me too, self-included. And honestly, if you really want to lose weight, you really want to put muscle up, or you want to do an event, you don't need to wait for January 1st.
No.
You don't. You start then, or the next day, or whatever reasonable time is that you get, your schedule cleared out.
It's funny you say that. So there's my secretary at work. We made a bet that we were going to quit smoking in the new year. That was our thing. And then our other receptionist said, okay, here's the deal. If whoever quits smoking and stays with it is good, whoever bails out on it first, I get to call a little bitch for however long. So I decided, you know what? Before Christmas, I quit smoking. I finished my pack, and I just had no will to have another one.
Right.
Buy another pack.
Why would you wait additional 2 weeks saying, well, I might as well just smoke this for 2 more weeks and start January 1st when you know you want to do it then?
Exactly.
And that's a lot of the inner drive that many people with resolutions don't have.
Yeah.
Like they like the idea of losing 50 pounds. They like the idea of quitting smoking, but there's no internal drive or motivation to really say, you know what, I have to do this.
Well, it's almost like, hey, it's my birthday, give me gifts. Well, hey, it's New Year's, I'm going to do something.
Right. And with many people, events like this happen because of something traumatic. I've had a heart attack, my parent has died, or something of the sort, and they take a introspective look, whether or not it's a midlife crisis or whatever. It's an event that recognizes their own mortality, that realizes that, oh, geez, I really should make the change for myself.
Yeah.
Right? Or when you have other people that are dependent on you, that's unfortunately the spike to get people better. Instead of someone looking inwards and saying, you know what, I need to do this for myself.
Right.
And it's okay at first if people need extrinsic motivation, someone to say, I want to look like this person, or I need to do this for my kids.
Well, I think everybody needs to have some sort of motivation.
You need to springboard for something. You can't, right? Not everybody is pious and thinking, oh, I'm all holy and I can do this. No.
And even if you don't have the motivation, I mean, if you had a friend or your spouse or your kids or whoever that could kind of be your cheerleaders to kind of keep you going.
Absolutely. But at the end of the day, though, if you don't want it, you're not going to do it. It's just not going to happen.
No, for sure.
Like you could have your wife, your kids. Yeah, Dad, I really like seeing you doing this. Oh, wow, you're looking so good. But if you're hating yourself doing this, you're never going to finish it. And
you're right. And my kids always, Dad, quit smoking. My wife, quit smoking. It's not that easy. I didn't want to.
Right.
I enjoyed smoking. And now my hardest thing is, after certain things, I'm used to having one, and it's breaking those habits. But I was literally ready to quit this. I didn't want it. Now, I have other habits that I've been developing because I'm used to going out after a meal or while I'm driving to work or whatever. But you're right. You have to want to do something in order to achieve it. And that goes across the board for everything you're ever going to do.
And then it's prioritizing the time for it. Everybody uses, I don't have time. In many cases, no, you have the time, you just haven't prioritized the time.
Right.
There are legitimate people, again, like yourself. You're out 12 to 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
You leave it. So we're in the morning, you're out driving to Toronto. You spend an 8-10 hour day, you're driving 2 to 3 hours back.
That's right.
There's not a lot of time.
Time's hard to come by for a guy like me, and I'm gonna make the time.
Right. Well, the thing is, again, in your time frame, you have a wife, you have kids. That's your priority.
Right.
If you were single doing that, well, then you'd have an additional hour and a half to go to the gym. You could do that, or do your home workout.
And look, you don't need to go to a gym to be healthy.
No, you don't.
It can start at home in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
Start eating right. I mean, me and my wife did the keto diet, and you know what? I lost just over 20 pounds doing that.
Right.
And then I continued it. I did my push-ups at home and sit-ups.
Right. You can definitely get that as a start. And if it helps, it's just home, again, is comfortable.
Yeah.
People need to be brought out of their comfort zones.
For a guy like me, it's molding my mind around doing that. So if I can get myself used to doing something,
right,
it's all about training for me.
But again, 30 days for habit to form, right?
Right.
And then at that point, you've put it into your lifestyle, you've made your time arrangement around that. And then when you're not doing it, it's like smoking. Like you take your habits after you eat, you do this, this. It's habit breaking. Well, now you're going to habit forming.
And it was motivation too. I mean, I'm coaching hockey now. I need to keep up with my kids and the other kids on the ice. And
right.
It's hard when you're running out of breath.
And we're in our mid-30s, and here you go, right?
Yeah.
Things are going to happen as we get older, and so you want to be on the best side of the coin for that.
The other thing when you get older is you start seeing, people who are a little bit older than yourself, they're getting cancer, they're dying, it's scary. And
right.
For me, it was like a fear of God was put into me. Okay, this is not what I want anymore.
Absolutely. And if something does happen to us, for myself, when I look at myself in the mirror, I want to say, okay, this may happen to me, but I gave it my best shot, and had I not done this, could have been much worse.
Right. Yeah.
I might develop cancer, I might have a heart attack, but the recovery from that, or a stroke, genetically I might be susceptible to that, but at the end of the day, if I'm as good fitness as I am now, should that event occur to me, will I recover much faster? Or will the damage not be as severe because I kept myself in tip-top shape?
100%.
Versus someone who is morbidly obese and terrible eating habits, and they got full of heart arteries and liver damage.
That's a whole another barrel of monkeys.
Right. But that is me as a physio coming out saying it's not just as a trainer or a bodybuilder, it's me as a physical therapist empowering lifestyle change, because I have to deal with that end of the spectrum after the fact.
Yeah.
Someone who did go in and had a triple bypass, someone who has absolutely no conditioning, someone who then has a fall, breaks their hip, and now they can't even move because they're 300 pounds, and now I have to get them into that stage so they can actually go to the bathroom.
Wow.
So now they want to tell me, well, I need to do this now, and it's not that it's too little, too late, but the bar is set so low that you have to it's very difficult, right?
I can imagine.
So I work with people. Not just functional to make them super functional, but I have to take them dysfunctional down to the very bottom end and bring them up to a normal everyday life.
Yeah.
Right. And again, as we said,
that's hard. That's hard.
It is. And so and because he had both spectrums, I'm very fortunate. And because I was at that stage, I know what it's like to be the everyman.
Yeah.
So I can empathize with them and cheer them on, not just as their healthcare provider, but say, hey, I've been there.
And that's the biggest thing, empathy. You have to. And again, with everything, if you don't have that empathy, you're never going to understand what they're going through, and how can you help?
No, you can sympathize and say, I understand you feel this way. I feel sorry that you feel this way. But if you were, one of the mesomorph Arnold types or whatever like that, just blended with genetics, you're right. You'll never have that empathy to say, wow, I can feel the hurt.
And that's got to play into it too, genetics a little bit.
Genetics are many things. Like
some people out there that just can't do it.
They can. It just makes it extremely more difficult.
Right.
Even if they have metabolic disorders, even if they have thyroid disorders, the body still will do things because physiology is physiology. Even if it's harder, they just, again, where's the drive?
Right.
Someone who has bad metabolic disorder, who is on thyroid medication or an out of control thyroid, and they're significantly obese and they're having trouble with that. If they really, really wanted to make that change, they would go through all the barriers that are presented in front of them and do it.
Right.
It would be slow as all hell, but they will get through it.
But it leads back to the want.
Yes. And you're right. If they don't want it bad enough. Then, and there are people that do want it bad enough. There are people that really try, and it's just there's multiple things in place, whether it's fate, if it's God, if it's anybody else, that always punches them back and says, I'm not letting you. And again, it's that willpower, their perseverance.
For sure.
And so a lot of people are more fortunate than others. But in many cases, genetics plays a huge role, but there's no denying hard work.
Mine is a bag of chips.
Yeah. Well, and the way I got to myself, it's funny you say this, because when I was in the state I was before, it was like watching the first couple seasons of The Walking Dead, it was actually good, for this crap. And I was eating a bag of Doritos every night. Yeah. That was my thing.
I did this diet, I lost all this weight, I felt so good. I was like, I gotta get new shirts because I fit smaller. And I got to that point where I felt so good that, I can afford to eat some chips, and then that leads into this.
Right. And in carving a new lifestyle, you get to that point where, I can have some chips, and you eat it, and you're like, I don't really like this anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Same with smoking. Hopefully you stay away from that, and then if you're around cigarette smoking,
I'm already feeling it.
Yeah.
I smelled smoke the other day, and it almost made me gag.
But okay, so it's now, but you're motivated. A year from now,
yes.
Are you going to smell it and you're like, what's one going to do? No, because that's the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And
some people with eating disorders or, addictive personalities, you cannot.
It's funny. It's not the smell for me. It's the hardest thing for me is my drive. When I'm driving, I get kind of bored. Now, speaking, we're on a podcast, but I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do a minimum of 4 hours driving every single day, and I get so bored that it's my hands. I need something to do. So I'm vaping, which, there's a lot. I mean, it's hopefully the lesser of two evils, but it's helping me get through it. It's not tar and shit going into my lungs. It's other crap going into my lungs, but it's helping me get by. And hopefully I can just phase everything out. It's doing something with my hands. So whether it's a stress ball or something, maybe I got to get there or what. I don't feel like I need to have a cigarette. I'm past that.
Well, good. Yeah. Good. Let's see what it is a year though for now when life is going on and you're pushed up against
and that's what happened last time. I quit for 5 months and then I had some stuff go on in life and got stressed out. And
that's the thing is, that's how bad you want that.
Yeah.
Persevering through myself, going through divorce, moving away from my child, going through a bankruptcy from divorce, all those things were thrown in my way, but never did I want to stop training.
Yeah.
Because I prioritized myself. That before anything had to happen. Because if I wasn't healthy mind, I was not going to get through this.
Fair enough.
And coming on top on the other side, I've overcame all my barriers, all my hard knocks, but here I am with a body better than ever and a lifestyle change and positively affecting people in my life that I haven't even met before that come up to me and they follow me on social media.
And that's awesome, right?
Yeah, it is. And patients come up to me and say, I booked in with you because, I saw that you did this competition and both my husband and I lost 50 pounds together.
Wow.
And now I hurt my ankle, so come on and help me out because I was trying to do some, deadlifts or something and tripped up on a weight and something silly, but
still cool though, man.
And
being able to influence somebody in that regard and changing their life has got to be freaking awesome.
It is, and especially in this small city that we live in, it's reputation's everything, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have to craft yourself and be mindful of yourself and understand that everything you say, everything you do projects an image, and
sure.
And one single person can wreck it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But hopefully, by being the good person you are and doing what you want to do with yourself and projecting a positive image, if some of the naysayers come up, because they're always around, it'll be drowned out by the plethora of positive vocals that say, well, listen, I don't know about you, but this is, not the case.
For sure. So leading up to that, staying motivated and doing all that kind of stuff, I'm going to put you on the spot for a minute. Yep. So in everybody's life, they have some sort of hero or somebody they look up to, they get their motivation or their ideas from, generally. Who is it for you?
So from the physical therapy aspect, as cheesy as is my mother. My mother.
There's no cheesy.
Well, it's just my mother had congenital, so a birth defect, not so much a birth defect that was not diagnosed. So her hips, she had something called congenital hip dysplasia. So essentially her hips weren't sitting in the sockets correctly. They weren't formed properly. She wasn't able to walk until she was around 2 years of age, if not later. So because of that dysfunction, and the stress placed on the body, she developed significant arthritis in her body.
Okay.
So as I grew up, my mother had multiple knee surgeries, over a dozen on each knee, which completely screwed her quality of life.
Right.
And so she had her first knee replaced when she was 42. I was in university. I even had to transfer dorm rooms down to the base floor because my mother couldn't climb the stairs.
Okay.
So I had to accommodate for that. Then when I was even 50 years old, she had her first hip replacement. And then she had multiple surgeries from that, 8 of them over the few years afterwards because of infection and, bad luck, So with me, it motivated me that I wanted to be in the healthcare field so I could help her, right? So extrinsically, she was my motivation.
That's awesome.
But intrinsically, my motivation, again, geared towards myself on just being a better person and helping people for my own desires. And you just just wanted to be helpful.
That's awesome,
but yes, so from a physical therapy aspect, yes, she was my motivation to help people, to help her, and then it branched out to helping others in life.
Right.
In terms of like the bodybuilding stuff, it was your classic high school vanity. I wanted bigger biceps because I wanted chicks,
That's awesome.
curls for girls. And then I kind of stuck through university, did my thing.
You're gonna have to make shirts.
Yeah,
Curls for girls.
Curls for girls. And then when I went to physio school, actually, is when all my depression and everything set in, so I let myself go. So then when I saw that picture of myself, that state was
this back in New Brunswick?
Yeah. So to get the listeners on key point of view, is back in Christmas 2012. I was at my grandmother's house. I was with my first wife and my son at the time, 2 years old, just turned 3, and we just had a family photo taken of us.
Right.
And I was in this green shirt, and when I looked at myself, I couldn't believe that it was just, holy crap. Like, people call me Big Rick, but it wasn't big like muscular.
You don't realize it.
Right.
And even when you look in the mirror, you kind of see this. But when you look at a picture.
Right, it just stuck out.
Holy crap.
Terrible color, I just was washed out. My eyes were sunken in. There was a smile, but it was dead.
Yeah.
And that's my own. It wasn't based on anybody else. It wasn't based on my ex-wife. It wasn't based on my situation. It was me and my own issues.
Yeah.
So that motivation was me, all me.
Okay.
I didn't have anybody to look up to say that guy did it. It was all me at the time.
Okay.
Then as I started training, getting my butt in gear, overcoming everything, a lot of the stuff came from watching, like when I moved out here to Owen Sound from New Brunswick is where I'm from.
Yeah.
I always wanted to be a bodybuilder. I always wanted to step on stage. Just the idea of doing something that only 1% of the population could even do.
Well,
even in the bodybuilding sense, like, of all the people that work out, only 1% of those, I would say, even come close to being on stage.
And there's a big misconception with that too, is, you always hear about guys that go to the gym like, oh yeah, look at that big guy over there, he's pumping as much as he can. That's not a bodybuilder.
No,
a bodybuilder is, you're toning the shit out of your body. And
you're crafting muscle, you're building you're building everything in specific ways. You're creating symmetry, you're creating size and shape. It's not just lifting weights. Lifting weights, I mean, again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. If you want to call yourself a bodybuilder, sure, you're building a body for sure. But calling someone a bodybuilder, in my opinion, would be someone who wants to take the stage, right, and suffer for that. So, I mean, ultimately, again, it's I
like how you said suffer through that.
Yeah.
Because people need to know that if this is something you truly want to pursue, you better be prepared to suffer.
Right. And there's good days and there's bad days. The days that you don't even want to be there are the days you need to be there the most.
Yeah.
Right. And that's how you overcome. And that's how. And so again, my motivation was me wanting to step on the stage for my own sake, to say I could do something that no one else could do. And then now, and if anybody's going to be familiar with the bodybuilding world now, there's a new division called classic physique, which goes back to the Arnold style era of good size, good shape, conditioning, but not the extreme,
right?
Like the current Mr. Olympian stuff is. And so when I started seeing the guys and the standards of what that is, that was motivating me to say, hey, I'm not genetically blessed. I got good size and shape, but I can actually look like those guys and I can actually stand on stage. So it's not one particular person, it's a whole plethora of competitors that are like me, normal guys that work hard and do, that can have some success, but seeing them go through and say, hey, we'll never be pros, but we can still go up there and show ourselves off. So,
and that's still awesome.
Yeah.
It's, like, I could never do it. I don't have the motive.
It's just like a discussion. Yeah, it's just that it's not even.
Like, dude, we had a fire in the backyard, and I remember you coming over going, okay, I got to go now because I got to go to the gym. And man, the look in your eyes was like heartbreak because you wanted to stay and hang out and
right. I remember that. I had one little shot of rum.
Yeah.
And that was it.
You're like, hey, gotta go. I'm like, man, you're crazy. I could never just go.
Yeah.
I'd be like, no, I'm not going to the gym. I'm gonna hang out with you guys. It's all good.
Right.
I could never do it.
But that was, again, that wasn't a normal exercise session, right? That's, again, leading up to my show.
Yeah.
And if you miss a workout, then you're going to look at the mirror and say, I got my placing because
I could have been this much.
Right. The guy who got ahead of me, third place, he just worked that much harder.
Yeah.
Even though at the end of the day, it's all subjective what the judges say, but you don't want that mindset. Geez, if I missed that.
That's a great mindset to be in, is, already knowing after the competition's done, that, man, if I miss this one day, I know I'm going to look back on it and go, you're an idiot.
Yep.
You know?
And but then some days too, like myself, like you don't miss any gym sessions. You hit every single meal. You pound back the pounds and pounds of white fish and the rice and the whatever else, and you still step on stage in the best shape of your life, and you still place what you place because it's just that day. There's always somebody better.
For sure.
And you have to. It's heartbreaking. Everybody has a story going to a show. Everybody's worked hard. You know, whatever motivating factors are. It could be a loss of a loved one. It could be overcoming something. It could be just general, whatever it is. But it is what it is. And there's no sense in appealing. You can rant and rave. Like I said, with mine, I had perceived issues between a couple of competitors ahead of me. You just have to take what it is and say, okay, I just need to be better.
Yeah.
That's your motivation. If you want to do it again, what are you going to do? What are you going to sacrifice to get to that point? So with me, if I'm going to step on stage again, I need another 2 years of training. I need to be able to say, well, I need to come in 10 pounds heavier. To do that, I need to just focus on training and normal training and normal eating and normal activity.
Do you think that, when you're going, you say normal training, normal eating, if you're on that path for 2 years, do you still need to work as hard as what I witnessed you work? Do you still need to do that right before the show?
Absolutely.
Or is your body that much more evolved where,
Well, there is something saying that, yes, once you've done that kind of work, your body will kind of attune to that. It does get easier as you do multiple shows. I don't think in the sense of, in my limited experience, in the sense that you don't take off body fat faster.
Yeah.
You just mentally know what you're going to go through.
Yeah.
You know that 4 weeks out is crunch time. You know there's no more cheats. You have to suffer. You know you have to get your 2 gallons of water in a day. You have to just dig in deep and do it.
Yeah.
Right? Leading up to the show, okay, this time you know that if I work for 2 years and okay, now I'm 16 weeks out from this prep, I need to make sure I look a certain way before I even start the prep.
Sure.
Because I was too out of shape the first time. This time I'm going to be more in shape.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little bit more cardio before the prep starts. Maybe I won't eat as much food, won't go as heavy. I'll stay leaner. Those are factors that every show gets better and better.
And you coach other people how to do this, but when it comes time for this, you get yourself a trainer.
Absolutely. And I have friends that have been in the industry for 25 years.
Yeah.
Because you need that objectivity. There are people that can do it themselves. Absolutely terrific. If you can do that, you know your body through and through, you know what to change, you know how to bring yourself into that shape, fantastic. For myself, having, a wife and kids and my job, I cannot.
You need that extra kick in the ass.
I do. I need someone to say, okay, dude, eat this. And I'm like, okay, even if I know that diet, even if I know I could do it myself, it's just more worthwhile, especially in the final 2 weeks, to have that guy track you and say, okay, this is our plan, this is what we're going to do. I can just keep my mind focused on that rather than trying to find all the variables. Because if I wake up one day slightly heavier than the next, or if I don't have the look I want, mentally at that point you're so exhausted that that's when massive mistakes occur.
Yeah.
And that if you have someone objectively out of the side and say, nope, you're fine, do this, trust me.
It's got to play with your emotions and everything too on your inside, right?
It is.
All that change that's happening within you.
It is, and there's a lot of people who do it wrong in terms of they're starving more than they should be, they're dehydrated or they're whatever the case, and they're not in a good mental state. And that just happens. That's the unhealthy aspect of the sport. And there are people that go through that. I was very fortunate. My coach this time, who helped me through, I ate a ton of food. I was eating almost double the amount of food I had the first time. So I wasn't actually starving, but it was just, I dieted longer so I could have that extra food.
Wow.
And people who crash this, a 12-week diet, 3-month diet, they'll go down to ridiculously low amount of calories, and it's just not good for them.
No. So, if you could pick one person out there to be your hero, who would it be?
Oh, you, Tom.
No, come on. I'm the epitome of hero.
That's a good question. I honestly, I don't know if I've ever come across someone who's so mind blasting for me that, I want this guy, I want everything. I kind of. That's
good though. That's not a bad thing.
I take inspiration from everybody.
That's great.
Little things, and it's not like one singular person is like, if I do exactly as he does, I'm gonna be like him.
There's one hashtag I always use on every post, and it's called "It's Be You," and And that's probably the best answer I'll
Yeah,
receive.
I am the culmination of my thoughts and processes of everybody around me.
Yeah.
And I draw inspiration from, like, again, people like yourself, on how you run your businesses and how you take care of your family. It helps motivate me for myself. You know, people within my own industry, the sports world, home life, whatever.
That's amazing, man. So that's exactly why I kind of take it from any little bit of motivation I'm seeing in the world, and I try and focus on all the positive.
Yeah.
There's so much negativity out there, but to weed through it, pick little pieces of the positive, and it punches me in the face and gives me drive every day.
Yeah.
And my kids motivate the crap out of me. Mostly watching them run around going, how the hell are you not tired yet?
There's not enough carbs in the world for that.
Last thing I want to mention is you started hunting again recently.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting thing.
So did you get one this year?
No. The last day I got out, I saw 9 in a field.
Yeah.
I saw none before.
I remember all the razzing you were getting on the Facebook post.
More pictures and less whatever. So the last day I saw 9. First thing I did was take a picture because no one's going to believe me.
Yeah.
And then they were just too far away. They weren't coming towards me. And then it was
couldn't call them in.
No, and it was just right at dark. So if I ended up even getting one, I'd have to chase in the woods and deal with it at dark.
Yeah. This was your first year back hunting, and how long?
17 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm 35 now. So I stopped hunting when I was 17. Went to university, did my stuff, went through my problems. Moved out here 5.5 years ago, and now this is the first year that things have been really good for me and slowed down, that I can actually take a look at stuff. And then and the thing with this year is I started getting into bow hunting, which was just absolutely fun.
Oh yeah.
Like so I'm out there in that tree stand, and you see those deer out there, and you're like, well, geez, if I had a rifle, this would have been no problem. Right? Because you're 60 yards away, and you're like, but then I got thinking, well, geez, with the bow, there's so much more exciting because I'm sitting there waiting.
And this is what I try to get across to people. I get asked all the time, hey man, get your gun license and go deer hunting. I will never, ever take a deer with a gun, ever. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm saying it's more about drawing that deer in 20 yards from you.
Oh, that was the hardest thing. They were at me 60 yards and they just didn't want to come in. Yep.
And that deer being there, having no clue what you are, they know you're there. I mean, they're not stupid.
Yep.
They can't figure out what you are, if you're supposed to be there or not supposed to be there.
Yep.
That whole experience, and I'm sure, so I'll tell you, the first deer I ever shot probably would have turned anybody off of hunting. And this was with my now father-in-law. This was going back 11 years ago. 11 years ago this past fall. He took me out, and I didn't have a bow or nothing yet. I had my hunting license, and I'd never been in the woods before. I had no idea what to expect. I fished my whole life, but hunting was new to me. So he took me out, put me in this tree. He says, you're guaranteed to see some deer. Okay, perfect. And it was just getting dark, and this buck comes walking up over the ridge. And it was like straight out of a movie, like Clint Eastwood shit. Coming up over the sunset is in the background. I'm like, this is great. So I raised the bow up on him, and I'm shaking. And the adrenaline set in like nothing you've ever seen before. And I pulled the trigger, and he dropped. Smack! Done. I dropped him right there in his tracks, and me not even understanding how all of this was processing, right? And so the deer was kind of edging its way down the embankment a little bit into the hardwoods, and I hear my father-in-law walk up. I waited about 20 minutes. I remember him saying, the one piece of advice I'll give you is if you shoot something, sit there for a minimum of 20 minutes, don't move, and you don't want to spook him. You want him to just lay down and do his thing. So I hear him come out of the tree, and he was only about 100 yards into the woods from me. And I hear him laughing. And I couldn't figure out why he was laughing. I don't know what the hell's going on. So he comes walking out. He says, you shot one. I said, yeah, I shot one. He dropped right dead in his tracks. He's laughing, pissing his pants. He says, no, you spined him, you paralyzed him, and he's over there moaning. So now you need to finish the job. And I go, oh man, this is like the worst thing that could ever happen. First deer ever in my life. And so I get my bow cocked again. I go down, and I was going to take a shot, and I decided to take the knife to him. So the father-in-law says, here's the knife, and finish him. So I get on his back, and I've never encountered a freaking deer before. I get on his back, and the damn thing threw me 5 feet in the air. By this time, my father-in-law is now leaned up against a tree, laughing and crying. This is probably the best thing he could ever expect from a future son-in-law. So I got it done, and after that whole ordeal, man, I can't tell you how many guys I know that would have been like, no, I'm done. This is it for me. That was, but for me, it was, I don't know if it was the closest to the animal, if it was the adrenaline rush, but now I've got this guy on the wall and many other deer that I've taken, and man, we got to get out hunting sometime. Now that I didn't even know you hunted when I first met you.
No, a lot of people don't think I do either. So
I had no idea, and I'm here going like, man, I need a hunting buddy up here, and my neighbor's a hunting buddy. Look at this, it's awesome.
It's worked out pretty nice actually, and I'm very excited to get out and do more.
Absolutely.
Maybe do some turkey hunting in the spring too.
Yeah, I may go. Now that you don't need to go get that ridiculous course done, but for me, it's easier for me to go to the grocery store. A deer I can't buy at the grocery store. Duck and goose. I love duck. I want to get a duck hunt this year for sure. All right, Rick. Well, thank you for being on the show. I want to end this. You got some social media you want to plug, the website, the business?
Yeah, I run my own little side online nutrition training company called New Body Fitness and Nutrition, and it's at facebook.com/newbodyfn. Basically, it's a little online training thing that I do for people where $50 a month. I do their dieting. I do their dieting for them. I give them training plans. I don't actually train them myself, so I want to help people be accountable. The great thing about this is it's cheap, it's reliable, it's from someone who actually has know-how in the industry.
And it's funny, you mentioned before that you can get anything you want on the internet. But even with dieting, there's so many, let's call it, witchcraft dieting out there. It's worth the $50 to get a proper plan. Yeah,
and again, there's many coaches, trainers, places, facilities you can go to. They'll charge you, $150, $200 a month, and sure, they'll give you the in-person experience. I offer the online experience that's reasonably priced, that keeps you accountable, all access to stuff, and I've gotten great results with people, and especially with the general lifestyle change stuff. If you want to do competition dieting, that's a whole different story, a whole different league. And I would probably steer you towards more, able-bodied people that would be able to do that kind of thing. But for the general person like yourself or anybody even experienced that wants just more tailor-made and stuff, that's where my job comes in.
Yeah.
And then if anything happens during the case, it's like, okay, you're kind of getting a bit, as injured or whatever, then as a physio, I can refer you onwards to say, maybe you should go down this road. And that
for sure, it just makes sense.
Well, and I keep that separated from my physical therapy stuff from, liability and conflicts and whatnot away.
So the Facebook page again is
facebook.com/newbodyfn.
Newbodyfn. So for anybody listening, I can attest, I've watched this man go through a crazy transformation last year, and he is my hero when it comes to keeping fit and understanding the body. And he motivated me to make some changes in my life, not by actually saying anything to me to motivate me, but by watching him. So if anybody out there is looking to make some changes, if you have a New Year's resolution that you want to stay true to and be realistic about, contact Rick. He definitely knows his stuff. So Rick, I want to thank you for being on the show, my friend. And I've got something for you for being on the show. You are literally, besides me right now, these are being released next week on my site, Rise Apparel. For anybody who doesn't know, listen to this podcast is brought to you by Rise Outdoors Apparel Company. You can reach us on the internet at www.riseapparel.ca and Facebook, Official Rise Apparel, as well as Instagram, Official Rise Apparel. Rick, thanks again, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Cheers, and cheers to everybody else. Rise up, rise and grind, and rise above.